Good morning, everyone. Chen is the co-founding partner of Shorooq Partners, a leading seed stage venture capital firm in the MENA and Pakistan region, with a background in finance and investing spanning the US, Canada, China, and the UAE. He has played a pivotal role in shaping the region's startup ecosystem. Today, we will explore his insight and Web3 investment, institutional adoption, and the evolving venture landscape. Good morning, Ching.
Thank you. Thank you, Walid and Ola, and thank you for having us.
Shuruk has been an early backer of Web3 with one of your most successful investment being Mantra. So what made Mantra stand out and how does it reflect your broader investment thesis in Web3?
Yeah. So first of all, if I can take a quick step back, we have a venture capital fund, credit fund, and also blockchain initiative. So we have been looking into this space since 2017, all personally, but around 2021, we quickly identified blockchain in this space is a place, is an asset class to stay. So we have really decided to get focused and be the region's Middle East #1 player in this market. So we didn't find Mantra just out of the blue. So we have been looking into this space, especially on any application of the blockchain. So we have invested in AAA along with Pick 15 or Sequoia India, which is a payments driven by blockchain. Now, Mantra, one of the biggest application of blockchain in our view is something called real world asset. I mean, the name already is a real world asset,
Yeah.
which is your tokenized, be that securities like BlackRock is saying 14 trillion, or you tokenize the real estate. What Mantra is very much focused on these two vertical. So we have been looking for global players. The issue, as you know, Wally, so well in this space, is hard to find good actors or dedicated, disciplined founders who really want to build a company. Most of the founders that we have found in this region, they all care about my token price, how I'm gonna list and dump. On Mantra, they have been around for 6 years, even before we invested. So they went through two cycles. They really showed grit, perseverance, and also the right way of governance and building the company. When we first met them in Dubai, they were applying for VARA license and they had everything ready. We liked the detailed DDQ, detailed way of thinking how to build a sizable company globally. And that's how we like governance, discipline, perseverance, and also the thesis. Hence, we led the 11 million seed round and the company has grown like 100x since we invested. And there are, I think, give or take, top 20 globally in terms of our market cap.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to meet John again and talk about Mantra after Dubai Land Department announcement yesterday. So
Yes,
so they are all in.
yes,
And
alhamdulillah.
I believe Mantra will get a huge benefit out of that.
So, absolutely agree.
How do you evaluate a Web3 startup differently from traditional tech startups? So,
So, it's a
has your investment approach evolved over the years? So, because I feel like they are two different, totally different words.
absolutely. So, if I were to start with the traditional VC space and just to give a drastic comparison, in the traditional VC space, there's no word called like token economics. We don't really underwrite getting liquidity or the
Market
getting listed in the
making.
exchange anytime soon. We focus on what we call fundamentals. What's
Yeah,
the revenue? What's your go-to-market strategy? Which country? Which license? But in the token economics, let's say Web3 companies, although I don't like it personally, most founders, their first top care about it is which exchange can we list? What's really the token economics? Who are the advisors they can bring? Like I never heard the word before, KOL, key
yeah.
opinion leaders type of stuff. It's very different way to evaluate. And we have really learned, for example, when we first started to look into this space, many founders and companies didn't even want to give equity. They only wanted to give tokens.
Yeah.
So I said, no way. And thank God. And we looked at them even before like 2018. when all the Swiss Valley, all the Swiss companies used to come to the region and the ICO. We
Yeah,
never were comfortable with it, so we never invested a single dollar, which was the best decision, one of the
yeah,
best decisions in our
I
lives.
agree.
And 2021, still people were saying only tokens, and everyone thought my token economics was the right way to do. And we all found out none of them really worked, especially all the game companies who had like different token economics. And the leading example can be an XC.
Yeah,
And now finally founders are coming as a hybrid approach. You raise equity, but that comes with token warrant
yeah,
type of situation. But like we have to really understand not only the fundamental of the business, how you're going to generate revenue, the team, the market, the regulation landscape, which market, your competitive dynamics, but also how you're going to adapt to a public market.
yeah,
Community aspect is key.
yeah,
You know, like in Web2, we rarely talk about what's the community you have.
yeah,
But in Web3, that is very, very important, because at the end, you need to incentivize different players, different ecosystem, different stakeholders. You also need to think about which chain to be built,
yeah.
like, and how do you actually work with different chains. So actually, you really need a asset class expertise, which Shurooq we have.
For me, I'll second you, and I would say more. The failure of most of the project between 2017 and 2021 was due to this mentality.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm handing over tokens, and there's no one watching me. There's no board. There's no investor asking me what I'm doing while building this company. So someone like Shurooq joining a company is a plus for the company to maybe create a bigger vision, or create a bigger mission for a company like Mantra or any other company, because you're gonna take them to a bigger world, or
Yes.
bigger audience. Yeah. So having an investor means a lot beyond the money that the investor is putting in the company itself.
I absolutely agree. One of our biggest value add to these companies and founders is that credibility.
Yeah.
We're not, and we hopefully are doing our job to underwrite good founder. Where our job is to underwrite good crazy founder, not bad crazy founder. And if we come in, like we really do our best to make sure the governance is there. Like you cannot just spend the money for the sake of spending money, cost discipline, the board governance, everything like resolutions. So all these things have to be kosher. So
Yeah.
we do that, and that alone already sets some of these Web3 companies very apart from others.
Yeah. So, do you see Web3 founders today are more prepared to work with traditional investors? Are they adapting to start working better with institutional capital, or still there is a gap?
Great question. So because we see so many of these companies, really like anyone within the region and across the world coming to the region actually reach out to us on this space. So we probably gap is still there.
Mhm.
Many people still don't understand how to build company, but they're so excited to just have the token of their own. So I think the gap is there, but it's our job to find the right companies, right founders with the right motive to build a real company. So compared to 2 years ago, gap has shrunk like so much, but I think it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah. Is it is it is it a technical gap, or is it more about cultural, or the way founder look into how they see, or how they forecast their company in the future?
So I actually think it's on the latter.
Yeah,
So let's say so Shurooq is our startup, right? It just happened to be my revenue model is to invest in other companies. So, but when I think about building Shurooq, I think about there are certain fundamental ways to do so. Revenue, the cost, the team, like how am I going to spend the money, how am I going to raise money, and etc. I think many people are in the Web3 space. They didn't come from like building company mentality. They wanted to come from make money
yeah,
mentality.
yeah,
I'll give you an example. Gaming companies who all have so much tokens, they were never gamers nor game developers. They just wanted to tokenize the game. Hence, the game sucked. Game was not interesting. But at the when market was hot, people wanted to do that just to make money.
Yeah.
But I think core has to be people wanted to play game, develop game, and that token economics comes afterwards.
It's
Uh,
for me, token economics is another job title. And if you
yes,
are a CEO and you want to run a company, you shouldn't take care of your token economics. Otherwise, you should bring someone else to manage that part of the business because it's a separate business, in my opinion. And
absolutely. Absolutely. And the last two cycles, people didn't think like that. Finally, now, people who come from, let's say, financial services industries are building blockchain on top of it.
yeah,
People came from KYC industry, compliance industry are building a blockchain on top of it. So I see those healthy trends,
yeah,
but is that still the mainstream? Not really. Not really.
yeah. So things are evolving in Dubai and elsewhere. Now we see a big wave of changes in US, and I'm sure that it will ripple effect all over the markets all over the world. But still, somehow, the relation or the engagement with traditional financial mainstream still not as good as we do expect. So, do you see banks becoming more receptive, or there is still
Hmm.
skepticism about the space?
We're talking about regional banks or like global banks?
Global, regionally and globally.
Yeah.
Regionally, I see what's happening in the market, and I feel like, yeah, not everyone is ready to take the risk.
Yeah.
Some banks are leading the charge. More banks are looking at tier one didn't really are not excited that
Yeah.
much. But globally, I feel like no one want to miss the train. No one want to miss
Hmm.
the opportunity.
Hmm. So let's say top US banks and European banks are more interested on working with blockchain related or cryptocurrency related industries. Asia and the Middle East, I think we're not ready yet. And honestly, what are the banks most worried about? KYC issue, money laundering
Compliant,
issue,
just compliant.
exactly. And frankly, the last few years of big scandals don't really help. And also banks, their job is to not really make money, but their job is to preserve wealth of their clients. So when I see crypto like prices going this much driven by politics to macro, of course, it doesn't help. So I
Mm.
don't think banks, at least in the Middle East, where like our core expertise on, they're not ready. I'm Korean myself. I don't think Korean banks are ready. Like after the Luna scandal, etc., a lot of things have gone
Was the
sideways.
biggest hit, in my opinion.
Yes. But US, now with Trump, but a lot of things are, in my view, getting very favorable, but still we need to see the output. I need to see the actions. There are a lot of messages and people are reacting to it, messages, whether they get overly excited, they get underexcited. And I think time will prove. We only had now 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
since the new era, and I think it will take 4 years to see the output.
Yeah, in my opinion, the more, and I don't know if you agree with me, I'll make it as a question. Their main focus would be in the coming couple of months. I believe uh, late 2025, early 2026, stablecoin should be. They are focusing so much on bringing this into control. Let me say, and into regulation, and then things will follow. Do you agree with this views?
I absolutely agree. Stable coins or hopefully the real world asset thesis. So something backed by tangible stuff
Yeah,
that Walid and I can agree this is the price, or agree that this is the mechanism. I think those theses are going to do great.
yeah,
And frankly, I believe that is the right way to start also.
Yeah,
All this too much like alt projects or too many completely wild card projects will take some time.
yeah. So, uh, how has the market appetite for Web3 investment changed over the past year? Are there specific verticals that
Yeah.
excite you the most beside RWAs?
So we as a Shuruk are excited about three. We talked about RWA. Second, we slightly talked about payment. We like payment space. Why? Like, frankly, in my view, that is one of the
It's a
best
good use
ways
case.
to,
It's a good use
yeah,
case. Yeah.
exactly. Like, I just need your wallet. I will send you 0.005 Bitcoin. It's easier than I have to add your IBAN and banks ask me. I
Why
think
and
I can
when?
say
Yeah.
exactly. Banks ask you a lot of questions. They call me. I don't know if this is scam or not scam. I have no idea. So payment I like. Third, we do like what we call social slash gaming vertical still because I believe crypto was the beauty of a blockchain side is community is very important. And what drives community is gaming and the entertainment or the social app side. I believe if you create a community first and add a blockchain, I think you can still find a good use case. For
Yeah.
example, if you're an influencer and I want to be part of your ecosystem, perhaps good way to be part of is be part of your like a blockchain network. But if I just add the blockchain and try to create a business model, then I think it creates the wrong
Yeah.
incentive.
You will be struggling with technicalities.
Yes, yes.
So, as an investor, do you prefer equity-based investment in Web3 startup, or do token models still hold strong potential in your opinion?
So we do prefer hybrid.
Yeah,
So we don't want to just hold tokens. I still fundamentally believe that's not a good partnership model. That's a good capital provider model, but not a good partnership model. And Shuruk, we are founders partners, not just financing people. So to really be a good partner, I think we need to be in the equity at the equity player and the tokens that come with it. I can also not be
the
naive.
rewarding as a rewarding mechanism.
Yes, I cannot be not naive to say tokens are not important. At the end, that's also is a new currency to really show you the liquidity,
Yeah,
right? Equity, like 40 years ago, was also perhaps a very similar treatment. Giving this equity concept to startups, giving equity concept to VCs is now about 40 years old concept. And
yeah,
I think token is also a new era, and it might take 20 years to get
yeah,
there. But we definitely prefer that hybrid approach.
yeah. So I believe you set up your the expectation. My last question was gonna be, what's your expectation could be for Web3 in 2025, but somehow
Yes,
you highlighted three sectors, RWAs, the
amen.
gaming, and the payment. So,
Yes.
uh,
I,
where do you see the most promising opportunity for founders and investors alike?
mm. If the regulation goes fast enough, at the end, long-term thesis on RWA, I think is the largest market,
Yeah,
but it's the most difficult one. And every stakeholder has to be aligned. Like that's why Dubai, frankly, is so amazing on this globally.
yeah,
And it's not a rocket science to know every good crypto company or founders wants to have a presence in Dubai for that reason. Right. But if the regulation is more difficult and slower than we expected, perhaps we're going to see faster use cases on payment just because it's a global product and it's a like I can send money to global scene and every company, everything is driven by payments in
yeah,
every transaction.
yeah.
So I can see that payment is comes faster, right? And but that also means a lot of different competitors and players, right? So for me, I'll focus on these two. One long term RWA, perhaps short term is more like a payments side.
So my last question in this case would be, so I'm a Web3 founder, and
Mm.
I would like to hear your advice to me and to all Web3 founders when approaching someone like Shuruk. What is the best approach?
Yes.
How can we grab your attention?
My sincere advice. Well, you already definitely we're good friends and partners, so you already have our focus.
Yeah,
I think it's very critical to understand whether you're a Web3 company or not. You need to treat investors as like friends and partners before like you can be so unique, fine, which we value uniqueness. But at the end, you need to be able to articulate your business model, articulate your vision, articulate your company. It's not good enough to say, I'm gonna do 100x, 1000x, I'm next Solana, I'm next whatever. It does
I'm
those
an Ethereum killer. The best is
Yes, yes. Those times have passed. That they used to work in 2018.
yeah,
But like you really need to be able to articulate how you're gonna make money and how you're gonna actually build a team. So real like Web2 traditional industries questions, you need to be able to respond. Don't tell us just because you're Web3 company, I say, oh, you're not a believer. No, we are a believer, but like at the end, or who are you gonna sell it to? You're not gonna sell it to a machine. You
yeah,
need to sell it to someone. So if you cannot even explain what you want to do and what you're gonna do, well, that is very, very tough.
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Shin from Shuruk Partners. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.